welcome to Family Home Evening with Bad Mormons.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back.
How's everybody doing today?
You know, it's actually not really evening time. We've been deceiving you. It's the middle of the day, and we're drunk.
It is 5 o'clock, and we've been drinking wine all day.
Listen, it's 106 degrees outside. It's Memorial Day weekend.
It's 179 degrees outside, and
what
it
were
is
we
the
supposed
hottest.
to do? What were we supposed to do?
Stay sober? No, I don't think so.
I don't know what kind of, I feel like I don't really have any weird Mormon stuff prepared that we can talk about. We could just stick to the usual, Joseph Smith married 14-year-old girls. That's weird.
Or, you know, oh shoot. No, I had something, but it's gone. I didn't write very good notes this week. I wrote plenty of good ones, but I'm not organized.
Should we stop? Should we start over?
Yeah, I think maybe. Well, no, you can edit
Listen,
this,
while
right?
you get your shit together, I'm going to talk about this wine that we're drinking
Oh,
because
perfect.
This is a wine that I've wanted to try for a long time. I've never tasted it. I've opened the bottle about 45 minutes ago from the fridge to let it get to room temperatures, you know. It's questionable.
Doesn't take long when it's 190
I was
degrees
going to say, yeah, it's questionable right now because room temperature is not the right temperature for wine, so I feel like it's right at the right temperature. So this is a Stag's Leap from Napa. It is a, 2016 vintage Cabernet Sauvignon. I've wanted to try this forever, so I'm really stoked. We're going to actually taste it for the first time right now.
Yeah, I haven't actually taken a sip yet because I'm drunk.
So the kind of a little backstory on this too is, I work for a grocery store that sells wine, and back in Hawaii, there was a lot of homeless people that would just come in and steal wine, like bottles and bottles and bottles down their pants. You know, they would come in groups. They would get out of there with like 12, 20 bottles of wine at a time. And this was their favorite one to steal. So me and my friends called this crotch wine.
Ooh, I cannot wait to put this crotch wine in my mouth.
So let's cheers to crotch wine. Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, yeah, that's really good.
That's really good.
I kind of chugged it for a second there. I went down the wrong pipe.
You don't chug a Cabernet Sauvignon.
Listen, I wasn't trying to chug it. I just got overly excited. So I'm going to take a second to breathe.
Compose yourself.
I got to get my garments out of a twist.
You just say the word crotch to Charlotte.
And I just get so excited. I can't help it.
Freaks out and starts chugging. Oh, that's inappropriate. That's not good. Sorry, Dad.
He promised he wouldn't listen.
He better not listen.
He's not going to like it. But no, that is some delicious wine.
That's really good. I think I like that better than the wine we broke up with.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I may be 3 glasses deep into other wine. But that tastes nice.
Yeah, it's
nice
good.
And earthy.
Good job, Stag's Leap.
Thanks, crotch wine. You're my new favorite wine.
I can picture the guy's face, too, as he was pulling all the bottles out of his pants. And I'm like, I had to take the bottles and, take them to the back to, write them off as spoilage. Because I was like, there's nothing wrong with the bottles, but I can't in good conscience sell an expensive bottle of wine that's touched a homeless man's balls.
$120 bottle of wine or whatever it costs. And I knew that it was touching some homeless dude's dirty ass scaby balls. Mm-hmm. I would be upset.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's... Never mind.
I also just want to say, I'm not meaning to shame people who are houseless, because that could be any of us at any time.
Oh, 100%.
But this group of people were just such assholes and were constantly taking advantage of my position, so...
Anybody is one cancer diagnosis away from being homeless. So
not trashing the fact that they were homeless, trashing the fact that they were fucking dirty ass, gross, stealing piece of shit assholes.
Right.
Oh, let's not start on that, because I could just tell so many stories.
Just calm yourself by looking at the willow sculptures on top of the piano.
Where's that picture of the temple? We should bring that into the studio every time we record.
We really should. We recently joined an ex-Mormon group on Facebook that I love and have been getting so much inspiration from because, man, you went to the church, growing up, baptized the dead. I only went in the summertime when I saw Dad, so I know little bits and pieces here and there. But, man, listening to reading all of their stories and, seeing all the memes, I love them so much. It is so good. And someone said, when I said, like, what would you typically see in a Mormon household? I'm starting to run out of ideas. And somebody had talked about the willow sculptures. And I'm like, are they like sculptures of like a willow tree? No.
Oh, wait, then I don't know what you're talking about.
Then what they are. So then I had to Google it because I didn't want to totally admit that I was completely ignorant of what was going on.
I'm ignorant.
No, but you're not, though. Because when you look it up, it's those almost faceless statues of like holding hands with their spouse or hugging those are called willow sculptures.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So learned something new, and I was just like, oh yeah, no, those were all over the place. Or like carrying a child. They should really just have one of a woman in a long dress carrying Jello, you know,
a Jello salad.
Yeah, like maybe. New venture, new business venture. We need to make some sculptures. How does one do that?
Maybe when we launch our merch empire, we can somehow have that be like a bonus. You know?
I wonder if we'd get sued if we had an image that we superimposed things onto.
You know what? We're gonna talk this out, and we're gonna get back to you guys.
It's gonna be awesome.
Brilliant plan.
Any repentance?
I actually have a repentance. So this is the first time on Family Home Evening with Bad Mormons History. In a previous episode, I repented. So remember when we were talking about the DMT and dying and death? Yeah. And we were talking about how it was like 7 ounces or whatever. And I was like,
21 grams.
It turned out to be 21 grams is what I repented for. So, and then I said, oh, it's like the Will Smith movie where he jumps in the bathtub full of box jellyfish. I was informed
also,
via...
spoiler alert, I've never seen it before.
It was, again, 25 years ago at least. Anyways, I was informed on social media that correction, that repentance was also incorrect.
Oh! So the movie was incorrect?
No, so 21 grams is the supposed amount that like leaves, the amount of weight that leaves your... essence or whatever when you die. But the Will Smith movie I was referring to is actually called 7 pounds. Oh. So it's coming full circle.
I understand how the confusion happened. Okay, good to know.
21 Grams was actually a movie with Sean Penn. And I actually totally forgot about this because I had to look it up and I was like, why does 21 Grams sound so familiar? And it was that trilogy that was done back in the, I think it was like either the late 90s or the early 2000s, but it had the one that was really famous was Amores Perros. You never saw that? No. With Gael Garcia Bernal. He's
dreamy, but
he's super fucking dreamy, and it was a great movie. The only other thing I wanted to say about the Amores Perros was it was a trilogy. So this writer and director duo from Mexico did this trilogy, and the first one was 21 grams. Or sorry, the first one was Amores Perros. The second one was 21 grams, and the third one was Babel. And I actually never even saw that because I didn't realize it was a trilogy. Oh. So, but
I haven't heard of any of these except for I've heard of 21 grams, but I've never watched it.
But yeah, they were really, at least Amores Perros and 21 grams were actually really great movies. So I was stoked to learn that it was actually a trilogy, and it's called the Trilogy of Death because, I mean, come on, that's like right up my alley.
That's pretty great. So now I was thinking about if we're going to talk about Cobra Kai to the extent that I would like to talk about Cobra Kai, it was originally a YouTube Red thing. And now it's on Netflix, so you can all go on and watch it, and I highly suggest that you do. I'm going to change my story, and I'm going to go first.
Wait, you can't just jump into stories. We haven't even done what we're watching and reading.
But I'm going to be talking about what we're watching. So I figured it'll all come together naturally.
Listen, I had this whole thing planned out. I was going to talk about The Righteous Gemstones, which we just binge-watched the whole season of, and it was
really great.
Fucking
Did we do it in a day?
Funny.
We did it in a day, didn't we?
One day, half a day. It was so great.
God, not working was wonderful.
Mimi messaged me on Instagram, and she was like, you got to check this out. It's fucking great. So good. Michaela, I should say.
Right.
I knew her as Mimi when she was a tiny, small child.
So, Danny McBride, man is a genius.
And it was so funny. One of my favorite things about that, well, the whole thing was fucking great. Every single part was acted
What's
to
the young
perfection.
boy's, not the young boy, but the younger brother's name? He's fucking funny in everything he does.
From Workaholics?
Workaholics, yeah.
His name
Adam
is...
I can't remember his last name. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Y'all know who he is. He's fucking funny.
Yeah, he's hilarious. And then there was basically like 3 siblings, and it was so funny to hear like the sister, the girl sibling, deliver lines that were clearly and obviously written by Danny McBride.
Right.
It was like this filthy, foul-mouthed
so filthy
girl.
And just
great.
Without any sort of shyness or remorse.
Yeah.
Like, just say some of the most nasty shit. And
Yeah.
it was funny.
Yeah, it's not even like it's just written by Danny McBride. Like, she delivered it as Danny McBride would
right,
deliver it.
Exactly.
Anyways, fucking brilliant. Thank you so much, Michaela. It changed my life. I can't believe I waited so long. That came out like last year. And I remember seeing ads for it, and I was like, that looks interesting. That looks funny.
See, I never saw anything for it. And it's on HBO. And, like, it wasn't until my friend told me about it. I was like, all right, I'll give it a go. And I started watching it, and I thought it was so funny. But I was like, Craig is going to love it. But Craig was like, I don't know, he's like, I'm going to go to bed early. So I was like, I stopped watching it so that I could save it so we could watch it together. And then he just never got into it. And then I just never picked it back up again. Which, note to self, for myself and anybody else there, I'm never going to wait for you guys again for anything.
You can't.
If I want to watch something, I'm just going to watch it. If you want to jump
it.
in, I'm sorry, you're going to have to watch it in your room by yourself to catch up. But I'm not going to hold off on amazing shit anymore so that we can all watch it together as a family.
Yeah, that's bullshit. It's Adam Devine.
Adam Devine, that's right. That's his name.
And he's fucking great in it, too. John Goodman, brilliant.
Right? I love everything John Goodman is in. Like, I like to play this game of... I don't know what you would call it, but if you were to choose any celebrities, 2 celebrities, they're going to be your neighbors for, let's just say, life or 10 years or whatever. So someone's to your right, someone's to your left. Who are you going to choose? John Goodman for sure would be one of them.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Because that guy's amazing. My other one was Bill Paxton, but he's dead now.
Oh.
And it was a real
He could be
bummer.
your ghost. He could haunt your
He could haunt me
then
all
you could
day
get
long.
another celebrity.
He could tell me all of the, like, this is a bad idea. Wait, what is it? Game over, man. Game over. As I'm taking showers, I'll be like, thanks.
You could have Bill Paxton haunting your house, and then that would make room for Jeff Goldblum to move in next door. Right?
Did I tell you that my friend lived across the street from Jeff Goldblum?
Mm-hmm. You did tell me that.
He had a very Freddy Krueger looking house. Because the only reason I saw this house was we were it was like 4 a.m. We were picking up my friend, so we wanted to beat the traffic to get up to that northern lake Tahoe, and we're like,
that big lake,
that lake up there. I don't know where it's at. But anyways, when we drove past, I saw this house that had white columns and a red door, and I was like, oh my god, that looks like Freddy Krueger's house. I want to get out and take a picture, but I didn't because I was like, that's weird, and like. It was like West Hollywood. And I was like, it's weird. And I'm tired. I'm half asleep anyways. So then we do our bachelorette party thing. And then when we're dropping my friend back off again, she's like, oh, do you guys know who Jeff Goldblum is? I'm like, what are you, idiot? Everybody knows who Jeff Goldblum is. She's like, oh, he's my neighbor. And I'm like, no fucking way. And I was like, does he have a red door? She's like, yeah, that's his house. I'm like, I knew something was drawing me to that house. It's meant to be that we're best friends. That's all I'm saying.
It sounds legit to me.
No, I love Jeff Goldblum, but I have to really think about who my next neighbor is. This is a very important decision.
It is a very important decision. While you're thinking about that, I just want to mention, after we binge watched The Righteous Gemstones, we jumped right into Lovecraft Country.
Oh, yeah.
Which was also pretty good.
It was really good. It took a little bit to get into it because, I mean, when you have put your phone away, just watch a show. I know it's hard, but...
It's hard for you.
Bitch, I saw you on that phone.
Fair enough.
And also, when I was like, maybe you might want to watch this part, it starts getting interesting.
Yeah, it was a little slow, but totally...
But again, it's character development and it's story development. You have to have it. Sorry that it's not all guns and ammo, but...
The monsters were fucking cool.
Right, it's very sci-fi, and it's amazing.
The gore was amazing.
The gore was amazing.
Yeah.
I loved it.
So, recommend that. And the one last thing I want to plug here while I have the mic is there is a podcast that I discovered this week that's going to blow your fucking mind. It's called Wheels on Fire Podcast, and it's these 2 dudes who do a podcast. They actually bill it as the world's first and only absolutely fabulous podcast. It's all about ab fab.
Oh my god, yes.
And then I was like, why didn't we think of that? Why has no one thought of that?
Is it everything? Have you listened to it?
Fucking great. Yeah, it's fucking great. I've only listened to the first episode, but it's
tell me
delightful.
tell me what it sounds like.
No, I don't want to. You're gonna have to just listen to it. I want you to immerse yourself and experience it just as I did.
Okay.
But yeah, it was great. Super great.
All right. Here I was thinking you were gonna go a totally different direction. And you didn't.
I know, I blew
you
your
just
mind,
blew
right?
my mind. I fucking love AppFab so much. Like my vision board is pretty much her. I don't know if it's her basement because it's downstairs, but her like champagne wall. That's just what I want in life. I just want a wall of champagne that's always stocked
And cold.
and cold.
Kind of like exactly that thing I was showing you from Costco.
Listen, bitch, I don't have that kind of money
We're
yet.
gonna need listeners. We're gonna need you guys to start sending us money.
We
I'll
need
give
that
you my
tithing.
Venmo because we need to buy
We're gonna need 10%
a
of
large
your
300 bottle cooler wine storage
for our 1,100 square foot house.
We can have it take Craig's closet.
I hope he's not listening.
You know what else? I actually just discovered this morning too, which is awesome. Is Will Ferrell does a podcast as Ron Burgundy.
So that's what I thought you were going to talk about.
Yeah, and I think it's a couple years old now. But I was just like flipping through podcasts, and I was like, "There's no way that's actually really him." And I was like, "It sounds like him." And it's got I forget her name, but yeah, that's a really funny one too. I listened to, like four episodes while I was willing myself to get out of bed because it was so hot to do anything this morning.
Great. Yeah. Is there anything else we've been watching? No, I think that's it because I had to go back to work this week.
Well, then the surprise element, which we, just stumbled upon last night, was Cobra Kai.
You just stumbled upon it because I've been trying to make you watch it forever.
And I've wanted to watch it forever, and I actually feel like kind of a dumbass that it's been out in the world for so long, and I haven't watched it because it's so fucking good.
So a couple years ago, I decided to fly out to New York. I'd never been before. My friend Sarah is a flight attendant for American Airlines, and she was like, she wasn't furloughed or anything. I forget what. She took the time off, and so I went out to go visit her. And I also had a class I was going to take down in Long Island, and so I was like, this will be a great birthday / education trip that I can have be a tax write-off. And so I flew out there and I stayed with my friend, and we were taking the train, doing the things that you do in New York. And we went down the Chelsea Market, and I saw this billboard and it just said Cobra Kai. And I was like, why does that sound so familiar? And I was like, I didn't see any of the names. It just, honestly, I don't think it had any marketing on it other than the Cobra Kai. And I'm like, that's fucking Karate Kid. And I was like, what? And it had a date. And the date was now. And I was like, wait a sec. Or it came out late April. So this is early May. And I'm like, no way. And the next day was my birthday. And I was just like, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing, but I want to watch that. So the night before, we drank a lot of wine. I ended up staying up way, I think I went to bed at 2, but it's New York, so that's 4 hours ahead.
Oh,
it was really 6 my time. So
well, and the bars in New York don't close till
we didn't go
4.
to the bars. This was we went home, we drank wine, but I drank so much wine that I was just hungover the next day, and I was like, well, I feel like dick. So I'm like, Sarah, it's my birthday, and I really want to watch Cobra Kai. So I spent my entire 35th birthday, I want to say, in bed with my friend watching the entire first season of Cobra Kai, and I couldn't have asked for anything more. It was so amazing. I cannot tell you how happy it made me. You really started dissecting it while we were watching it. I was like, yes, you were saying all the things that I'm thinking. So yeah. There's no reason to remake shit when you could just do it better. I'm not saying it's better than... No, it is better than Karate Kid because they were making fun of themselves, which makes it that much better.
Yeah, but they're not even making fun of themselves, in an obvious way. You really have to be paying attention to get it. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's really well written. It's perfectly acted. It's interesting.
Yeah, you don't lose interest. I mean, and then...
It's funny.
So this is the second time I'm watching it, so I'm picking up more than I caught the first time. Mandy's picking up things like music scores that I would have never, ever caught. Wait, isn't this the montage music from the first one, only sped up and slightly different? And it's like, holy shit, it is. And by the time it ended with like, well, if you didn't get it by now, here's your like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's really, I mean, good. In fact, we had to tear ourselves away from it to just come in here and
yeah,
record.
no, we said we're going to make this a really short episode so we can go finish it. Because I haven't seen season 2 yet, and that shit is out.
Yeah, highly, highly recommend Cobra Kai. Next week, we'll come back and we'll do a recap of season 2, which we're about to go watch as soon as we finish talking to you guys. Wait, let's stop there. Let's take a break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Yes, I hear we've got some new sponsorship that I'm really excited about.
Look, November 3rd is just around the corner. You have a very important decision to make. This country is in shambles, and who's going to bring us back together? Just like you, I'm not pleased with the choices given to me on who's going to lead this country to the promised land. Why do I have to choose between one old guy who's accused of inappropriately touching women or some other old guy who's accused of grabbing women by their pussies when I could vote for an old man who's been convicted of inappropriate sexual contact with young women? That's why I'm voting Jeffs. Warren Jeffs. Why should I choose a lesser evil?
Family Home Evening with Bad Mormons is responsible for the contents of this message.
I'm Warren Jeffs, and I approve this message, little darling.
Looking for something refreshing to help you unwind after a long day at your super important job? Well, look no further. Introducing Maga Margarita. Maga Margarita is the greatest pre-made margarita you'll ever have, and the only margarita you'll want to drink until you die. What makes Maga Margarita the best? Well, just like the Made in China tag in your MAGA hat reminds you, you can't trust America to make a great product. That's why all of our ingredients are sourced from other countries, ensuring that no American jobs are created. The best rapists and tequila come from Mexico, and so does ours. Our limes and delicious sugar sweeteners are farmed and purchased from China. We also include bags of salt to rim your glass, salt that comes straight from, you guessed it, China. And just like number 45, Maga Margaritas are smart, super smart. Maga Margs can only be chilled with ice cubes made from bottled water from other countries. If you try to use America water, the Maga flavor will automatically change to taste like urine. Plus, all those extra empty plastic bottles will look great littering the streets, helping to keep America the garbage capital of the world. Plus, our listeners can save an extra 10% online with the discount code COVFEFE. That's COVFEFE. So enjoy Maga Margaritas, because everyone knows the only way to make America great again is to get drunk and fucking forget about it.
Perfect.
You know who's a fucking genius?
Our friend Courtney.
Mm-hmm. Okay, do you want to tell your story first, or should I? Because my story is fairly short.
You go first.
Okay, so I've been trying to think about a way to tell some of the Logan Canyon acid LSD stories that I have just a fucking arsenal of. And, you know, as we've discussed before, that's one of the problems with taking psychedelic drugs is that your memories kind of, you know, blend together on some of the timelines and things like that. But there is a one time. So let me just set the stage. So we've already talked about my entrepreneurship in high school.
Right.
I happened to have unfettered access to LSD, and I supplied my community with it so that we could all have fun together.
Copious amounts of LSD I felt like would have been a good...
Yeah.
Okay.
Copious amounts of LSD. And we all had a great time. So one of our favorite things to do was to go up Logan Canyon, and, you know, we'd go camping, we'd go hiking, you know, spring, summer, winter, fall, any time of the year, we were always in Logan Canyon doing something. And my friend Alan, his family had a cabin up there. And so all of us, you know, we had a little like tight knit group in high school. And so we would often go to that cabin and, you know, just take drugs and party and have a great time. And so, and we did that a lot. So there's a ton of stories that I could tell, and there's a ton of names that I could drop. So if you guys are listening, you fucking know who you are, because you've been at that cabin a million times with me. But the one story that I'm really thinking of that I wanted to tell was a wintertime story. And there was a bunch of us at the cabin, and we were watching Disney movies.
Go on.
Like you do. Obviously, we were watching The Little Mermaid. There was some Lion King thrown in there. But a bunch of us got this like wild hair that we were going to go on a walk, and we were going to walk up the street to the nunnery. Did you know the nunnery?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been there.
It's like an old camp kind of situation that's been, I don't know if it's been run down or abandoned. It's been bought and sold several times over the years.
The trash can in my bedroom is from the nunnery.
Ah, so you know.
I stole it from there.
You know.
I mean, I liberated it from there.
Mm-hmm.
Not that long ago. I'd say like 7 years ago. Somebody bought it and they had redone 2 cabins, and then I think they sold it again. So
Gotcha.
there wasn't a lot in there, but me and Tiffany were looking, and I was like, dude, this is a sweet like vintage trash can. I'm taking it.
Yeah. Well, there was nothing ever going on that I remember. I feel like that place was just abandoned the whole time
Because
I was in high school.
it was a campground, right?
Like back in the
some point.
60s.
Like there was a pool, like...
But it was empty.
No, it was empty, don't get me wrong, but like it was like to be fair, it would be a bitchin' campground.
Exactly.
If you had enough money to put into it to redo it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is that it was abandoned the whole time that I
Right.
was in high school. Like, I feel like when we say it was a camp, I feel like it was a camp back in the 60s or
Well, yeah,
some
I'm
shit.
sorry. That's what I was also trying to convey was like that there's rundown buildings,
Mm-hmm.
there's an empty swimming pool, everything's covered in leaves, it's totally dilapidated.
And haunted.
And haunted, yeah, 100%.
Obviously haunted. Yeah, super haunted, and that was kind of the appeal of going there, at least with my group of friends. And it was like, I don't
With
know.
your pentagrams and your witchcraft.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
probably 1991, 1992, something like that. Don't look at me like that.
I was doing the math in my head of how old I was. It's fine.
But anyway, so
Fine.
it is a very, back to the story, back to Logan Canyon. We're at the cabin, we're watching Little Mermaid, and a bunch of us get a wild hair up our ass to go walk to the nunnery. And it's a very, very cold winter night. It is the coldest winter night that I have ever experienced in my entire life. I have never experienced negative 40 degrees
Ooh.
ever. That's the only one and only time I've ever experienced that. And that's with the wind chill, obviously, too. Negative 40. So it was fucking cold. And so all of us little fucking happy fucking acid trippers decide we're going to go walk to the nunnery, which wasn't that far. It was like maybe a quarter of a mile up the road from the cabin. But we're gonna go walk up there and see ghosts or whatever.
Negative 40.
Negative 40 for real. So we get out, and I'm wearing like denim jeans. You know, I don't have snow gear. That's why I fucking moved away from Utah, because I was so cold the entire
Right.
first 17 years of my life that I needed to go somewhere. Turns out I just didn't have a proper snow pant. But
Right.
anyway, I digress. So yeah, I'm wearing denim, and we're walking. We go out to the road. So this canyon, this is like an actual, rural
Dirt.
canyon.
Well, is it a dirt road?
No. It's definitely it's a highway. It's a major highway. Well, I wouldn't say major, but it's a 2-lane highway. And there's no sidewalks. There's no place for people to
It's
walk.
like if you're going to Bear Lake, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So there's nowhere to walk. Like, you walk in the road. You walk on the shoulder of the road, but you're like walking on the highway essentially. So we're out there walking. I want to say, I can't remember exactly who was with me. I want to say there's maybe 4 of us, maybe. And we're walking along the shoulder of the road, and I start to notice I'm carrying like a orange juice, like a container of orange juice.
So you can get more high?
So, yeah, that was the theory back in the day. Vitamin C gets you more high. So I'm carrying this container of orange juice, and it's starting to get slushy and freezing inside the container.
Not a surprise.
my
Negative
pant-
40.
Yeah, my pant legs are solid. They're stiff. Oh my God. I don't feel cold, right? I feel fine. I'm having a great time. And I think back to some of these stories that you hear of people just
Freezing to death.
being high on drugs.
Right. Those kids that died in their car I think they were on Molly or some shit like that, or ecstasy, but same thing.
They died in their car.
They died in their car because they couldn't find the rave, and they're like, whatever, we'll just stay in the car, and they died because they're like, it's fine, and it wasn't fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think about, this is one of those ones that I think about where I'm like, I should be fucking dead.
Right.
Luckily, my friend Alan saved my life that night, and he comes, we didn't get that far. I mean, we'd only been walking for maybe, I don't know the length we'd been walking, but we'd been outside in the cold for maybe like 10 minutes. And
I'm picturing Hoth.
yeah, exactly like Hoth.
It's like, it's getting cold out there. Why don't you go find him? Sorry, it's a bad Star Wars quote, but I'll try.
But it's nighttime
Right.
as well, so it's, it's
Cold.
really, really a bad situation to be in. So my friend and savior, Alan, comes driving up in his car. He had this really cool car that he would drive us around everywhere, and that's a whole other story. But he pulls up in his, like, savior mobile, and he's like, get the fuck in the car. You guys are going to die. And we're like, no, it's fine. We're going to see the nunnery. He's like, get in the fucking car. Right. So we're like, okay, Jesus.
Stop
like,
being mad at me.
You went from singing Little Mermaid to, like, get in the car, Alan. Fine, we'll get in the car. Yeah, little did we fucking know he absolutely 1000% saved our lives. And then we went back to the cabin and continued singing Under the Sea, Under the Sea. But yeah, that of the many stories I have of that, that's one of the ones that sticks out to me. There's one other one too. This was a summer night, and I mentioned, so that cabin is kind of on a blind curve.
Yeah.
And again, probably the same group of dumbasses out there in the road. We're looking up at the stars and we're like, oh my God, it's so amazing. It's so beautiful. And so we lay down in the road, in the middle of the road. I mean, and there's not a lot of traffic that goes through there, especially like at that time of the night.
Right.
But we're laying there in the middle of the road, looking up at the stars, watching the stars do this
that's
thing.
stupid.
Where they're like all boom, and they're like coming
Right.
down towards you and then bouncing back up and then
fun.
down towards you. Yeah, it was really cool. That's a visual that I remember still.
I also can vision Casey and his VW bus coming around and running you over.
Any single person.
No, I'm just saying, because me and Casey would go up to the canyon late at night all the time to go do stupid shit. Like, we're like, oh, we're bored, let's go up there. Like, not in the, in the summertime when I go visit. And then, of course, go off-roading in this bus, which made no sense. And he was like, look how my bus can take any kind of beating. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm fucking saying.
So I'm just saying you could have died.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, Charlotte. Is this your story or my story?
I'm reiterating the fact
I'm an idiot.
that you're an idiot.
And I'm lucky to be alive. And just imagine 5 teenagers laid out end to end in the middle of the road. Just
Like a
high
human
as fuck.
centipede?
No, not like the human centipede. Just laying down like paper dolls on the road. Jesus, Charlotte. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
There's lots wrong with me.
Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Anyways, I'm still alive, so cheers.
Hooray, cheers.
And cheers to all my friends who, none of us died either. So.
Yay, hooray.
And special shout out to Alan for saving my life.
Way to go, Alan.
Probably multiple times.
So this is a story about the first time I, as an adult, went to medieval times.
Yay! My favorite.
So, me and my friend, we both worked in a restaurant, and we had the same day off, and I'm a big fan of croquet. For the time that I lived in Washington, you really start to appreciate the sun when it comes out. And so I really got into croquet, where a boyfriend at the time had bought me a really nice croquet set, so I still have that, and I would play. So I invited my friend over, we've been drinking all day, just copious amounts of vodka lemonades, and we're kind of trashed, and it's probably about 3:30 in the afternoon, and Mom texts me, and I'm like, she's like, what are you doing? I want to hang out. My mom lives in like Montebello at the time, and I'm like, how do you say that you're shit? I think I did. I was like, Mom, I've been drinking all day. I don't know if today's a good day. She's like, oh, that's okay. I'll come hang out anyways. And so then I look to my friend and I'm like, hey, so my mom wants to hang out and she doesn't really drink. What should we do to where she could drive us to do something, since we can't drive because we're already trashed? And I don't know. I think Aaron had seen I just saw an ad for a discounted Medieval Times ticket. And I was like, fuck yeah, Medieval Times is awesome. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite movies, but it's a movie that I will watch at least once a year as cable guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
And I was like, oh, dude, we should do that. So I called my mom, or our mom, and I'm like, so I'm like, so we have an idea. Come pick us up. We're going to go to Medieval Times. And Mom's like, okay, let's go. And so she picks us up. We make our road beers or road drinks, and we're having a good time. And so we're probably 40 miles maybe from Medieval Times, and about the halfway mark. And we're in just bumper, because but now this time about 4:30, bumper to bumper traffic.
That just
And
doesn't
it
move
just
anywhere.
Sucks. And again, if I haven't said it, me and my friend are trashed, and we are very drunk, and we have to go pee. And there's just no way. My mom's in the carpool lane. Like, there's no getting over. And we're we're not close to being there either. And I'm just like, Mom, I don't know what to do. Like, we're moving enough that I can't just pop out and pee on the side, which
Of the freeway?
I would do it. I was drunk. I did not care. I had to pee.
Are you on the 5 or the 405?
We're on the 405. No.
Just so
5.
I know where to picture you
We're on
peeing
the
off the
5
side of
because
the 5.
we had to
Got
go
it.
past like Red Hill because it's Buena Park. So yeah, I'm 95% sure that it's a 5, but I was drunk. And
So
I
everyone just remember, Charlotte has no problem jumping out
no,
on
if you
the
see a
side of
girl
the 5.
peeing on the side of the freeway, it could very well be me. We all know that I don't have a problem with public
Urination?
defecation and urination. Jesus Christ. Urination. Anywho, I'm a classy lassie.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Go on. You have to pee.
Well, so we had to pee super bad. And Mom is like, I think Grandma's coffee mug is back there somewhere. You could just pee in that.
Oh, no.
And put it out the window. And I look at it, and it's not like a short coffee mug. It's like one of the tall, like, insulated ones. You know, they're kind of nice, especially for the time. Like, Yeti's way better now, but at the time, this was a nice one. And I'm just like, And I look at my friend who I know, but I don't know that well, to be honest. And I'm just like, is this okay with you? And she's like, oh, hell yeah. Now, cut to my friend. I'm very good friends. I was at her wedding, you know, baby shower. Like,
The same friend that you're in the car with.
yeah, the same. So this is my friend nowadays. Now I've heard stories. She'll shit in a planter. I'm not going to say her name. I was going to say
You've
sorry.
already said it.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say her last name, so it doesn't matter. And actually, to be fair, you ask her, she's like, oh, hell yeah, I do those things. Because if I have to go, I have to go, and sometimes things happen. But at the time, I did not know her that well. I'm like, is this weird? Because I'm totally fine with it. But if it's weird for you, I totally get it. She's like, oh, hell no. And so I was like, I'll go first just because, you know, whatever. And so, like, broke the seal. I peed about halfway up it because I was nervous. Again, I'm around somebody I don't know. I don't know what was happening.
I'm nervous just having
Right?
to tell the story.
So then I poured out the window. She pees to the point that it's almost overflowing. I was like, you gotta cut that shit off. Okay, then we dump it. She finishes peeing. Then I take it and then I finish peeing because I didn't pee nearly as much as I wanted to because I was scared. And then, yeah, it was, I don't know. I don't think, from what I remember, and again, when you're drunk, how much do you really know? Because Mom, also, there was no, like, back seats back there. Mom had taken all the seats out of this minivan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, we had all this room.
That's the
like,
same one where we were rolling around on the air mattress back there.
yeah,
driving
when
around
Richard was the hospital, right?
Yeah, and it was like Michael Jackson's funeral at the Staples Center.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
That's the same one. So now we've peed in a cup. And now I feel closer to her than ever. We get to medieval times, we get in, and normally, like, you know me, I'm a cheapskate. I'm like, I'm not paying $20 for a crown. This is ridiculous. But I'm having a great time. So I'm like, I want this goblet, the nicest one you have. I want this crown. Like, so
Like a crown that goes on your head.
yeah, and it's got like, it's
The
got
fabric.
It's got the fabric coming down because I'm a princess. Erin's got her princess one. We've got matching huge glass goblets. I mean, they're big. Like, my head could, two of my heads could fit in one. And we go in and we have our dinner. We see our show and we're just screaming like, go Red! We were Red. Oh, meanwhile, so as we're going in line,
Wait, explain to people what you mean
Okay.
by red.
Also, I'm also gonna take it back a little bit.
Sorry.
So when you're in line to actually get in, before you even buy these goblets and all these fun things, they want you to buy stuff, right? So they have this big green screen for you to take a picture, and there might be a dragon behind you or a castle or whatever. Well, we didn't want to pay for that for some reason, but my friend Erin, because I've already said it, is very cute. She's young and she's cute and she's spunky, and this old king, he was the king of the whole production
The
or whatever, the actor that's the king, was this I don't want to say he's a skeezy old man, but he was kind of a skeezy old man. Anyways, she's like, it's her birthday, and my birthday it was close. I think it was like 5 days off or something. He's like, it's her birthday, and so he knighted me for free. I got a picture of him knighting me for free, and like it was just like they really took care of us. But it was because I had a really cute younger friend. And then once we're in there, then we got the goblets and we did the thing. So now once you're sitting, you're in like bleachers almost. But there's a big arena where the horses come in, and then the king and queen have their own area that have the spotlight on them.
Yeah, it's like watching it's like you're at a concert. It's like you're in a big arena, like concert arena, and the action is happening on the floor.
Exactly.
Where like normally the seats would be.
Totally. And so you each get, according to when you actually just show up, is the color that you get. So we happen to be the red team this time, but there's the green team, there's the blue team, there's the yellow team, there's the yellow and white team, there's the yellow and black team.
Is
there's
it team?
Oh, I don't think team would be right, but it would be knights. It would be the knights.
Are you the red knight?
So we got the red knight.
Or the green knight?
And so for sure, and they say very specifically, and I hope that we did it, but I don't think that we did. I didn't realize it till later. You do not, because they don't give you silverware, but you get a soup bowl and a plate that are metal, and you can cling them together that you're not supposed to do because it hurts the horses. Like, it's very...
No.
So I'm pretty sure we did a lot of clinging or whatnot. Like, it's like, yeah, right team! And they're just like, oh, you fucking idiots. Like, but our team did not... I don't think my team has ever won.
It's not a team, it's a knight.
Sorry, when my knight never wins. But I do get a carnation every single time. Because I'll tell you what, if you are the loudest person in your section, but, don't be obnoxious. Just really clap, stand up.
You're cheering. Wait, basically, in case you didn't get the gist, you're cheering for your knight.
Thank you.
That's the section that you're in.
Right.
So it's
Did
like
I not that clear?
I'm not sure.
No, I don't think I did. I'm really excited.
Yeah. I thought
sometimes I forget.
obviously it's something to be excited about.
It's
also
amazing.
have been to Medieval Times on your recommendation and subsequently brought my entire team from Hawaii, my entire store to Medieval Times because we were here for work.
Did
like,
everybody love it?
Everybody loved it.
Yes!
Everybody loved it. It was so fun.
Oh my God. I love that. So Mandy had said something to me the first time I had brought her, because since then, so we went, well, let me just finish this one out. So, we cheer, we have a really great time, and then we're like, all right, it's time to go home. Like, this was the perfect day. I've been playing croquet, I've been drinking all day. Me and my friend walk out, and we're beyond drunk at this point. She drops her goblet, and it just smashes everywhere. And just the look of defeat on her face, it was just like, but my cup. Before you knew it, there was a brand new one in her hands because somebody had seen it. And it was like, I don't know what spell we had on that day, but everything went according to plan. Because I've never been like all, yeah, you want a little extra in there? Like, this is how it was that day. I haven't had it again, but like, it was amazing.
Just in case anybody's wondering too, the horses are very well cared for.
Yes.
There's some concern that the horses are mistreated in those types of performances. They're not. No. They're fine. They're living actually better lives than you are.
Right, and you can see them in between when they're not on the floor. They keep them where you can see them, and like, yeah, they're pretty great. But yeah, I brought Mandy a couple, maybe years later. I was like, oh, it was for Tiffany's birthday. I was like, dude, because we didn't have any plans. I was like, we should go to Medieval Times.
And it was also Ryan's birthday because they share a birthday. So we brought
and they were
Ryan.
Both here, yeah.
Yeah, we brought Ryan with us too.
So we went, and Mandy, you had said to me, it was like, okay, I get it now. This is a place for young children or drunk adults. And that is 100% accurate.
God, I love Medieval Times. When is this coronavirus going to be over?
I
so we
cannot
can go
wait to go back. We went Craig surprised me for my last birthday. He's like, we're going to Medieval Times. I'm like, you son of a bitch, I love you.
You crazy son of a bitch, you did.
And he brought my friends. We had a great time. I will go to Medieval Times any day of the week.
It's just so wonderful. I've never gotten a rose. I got a carnation once.
Oh, you don't get a rose. Did I say rose? You only get carnation.
Wait, doesn't the most special one get a rose?
Oh, son of a bitch, you're
and
right.
And then a couple other people get carnations?
I've never gotten a rose. I get carnations all the time because I know how to work that night. I will cheer. I will stand up. I'll be like, you're number fun. And they're
I will
like, have a
take
carnation.
tequila shots, and I will scream my goddamn head off if you don't give me a carnation.
Seriously, they'll give me one just to shut me up. Like, okay, we get it. You're the biggest fan. Take the carnation. Shut up. Sit down.
It's like Charlotte and this 6-year-old little
I
kid
will
who's
beat
dressed
that
like
little
who's dressed like a princess, and they're fighting for the carnation, for the attention of the knight to give them the carnation. Charlotte elbows the 6-year-old kid. Get out of my way, kid! And then bats her
you're not
eyelashes
wrong.
at the knight with the carnation.
Listen, knight. Or
I'm just kidding. That never happened.
I will just tackle the 6-year-old. Take her carnation.
I was gonna say that only happened in my mind, but maybe it did happen in real life.
No,
I
it
don't
hasn't
know.
happened. But I for sure, this happens. I know their system. They always give the child the first time because they're like, oh, she's really blah, blah, blah. She's so cute. And everyone goes, oh, as they give it.
Oh,
and then what they do is...
customer. Oh.
No, they're like, oh, look, she's such a sweet small child. Give her... So, and then they'll just throw one at me later so that I'll shut up.
They're like, give that drunken Jezebel whore a carnation so she'll shut her fucking mouth and stop scaring the horses.
I no longer clink the shit together. I only did it the one time because I didn't know better.
God bless medieval times.
I'm going to go have a MAGA margarita. See you later. I got to go watch some Cobra Kai.
Listen, I'm ready to go watch Cobra Kai, but I do have 2 things I want to mention in the Be Excellent ending that we do.
I'm just really
right?
excited for Cobra Kai.
I know. I'm ready. I'm right there with you. This is going to be short and sweet. 2 things. The first thing, slower traffic, keep right. How hard is that?
Oh my God, yes, please.
When you're taking your driver's test, and they're like, there's that far left lane. What do they call that?
The slow lane.
No, the far left.
Oh, the fast lane.
Actually, it's called the passing lane.
Oh.
And the reason it's called the passing lane is because it's supposed to be left open so you can fucking pass people.
Right.
Don't assume.
Or also, you ain't my daddy.
Just don't assume that you know everything about everybody's situation. Maybe that person's driving like an asshole. Maybe they have a medical emergency and you should get the fuck out of the way.
Though I agree with you that scenario is not likely to happen all the time. It literally is not your job to police people.
No, it's not. It's your job to be considerate of other people and
I was gonna say,
assume
I
positive
think because
intent.
I've noticed it is that people just are not considerate or observant of their surroundings. And if you're in a car, you need to be observant of your surroundings. Don't be looking at your goddamn phone. Don't be changing the dial on the radio consistently, all the time. Just stop being a dick.
There's 2 golden rules of traffic. The first one is that slower traffic keeps right.
Right.
And the other one is that the passing lane is for passing. That's
You're
all
right.
you got to remember. I think when speed limits got introduced, it just fucked the whole system up. Slower traffic, keep right. That's if everybody could just remember that. If somebody's going faster than you, just get the fuck out of their way.
Right.
You don't know where they're going. You don't know who they are. It's not your job to say, oh, they're going too fast.
Right.
Anyways,
And again,
sorry.
if you think
That's
that,
been
get over
bothering
in
me
the
lately.
far right lane.
It's obviously traffic is starting to pick back up. The world's starting to get back to normal slowly. I've been very blessed to not have to deal with traffic for most of the time that I've lived here because of the coronavirus. But now it's starting to get back to regular old California I-5 traffic, and it's really pissing me the fuck off.
It's terrible.
So I made a point to write it down.
I was gonna say, I actually have one this week.
Oh, okay.
If you have a dentist appointment, a hair appointment, a nail appointment, any sort of a appointment
For service?
for services, or you want to go out to eat, but you've been exposed to somebody who's been tested positive, cancel that appointment. Don't go out to eat. Don't go to your hair appointment. Don't go to your dentist appointment. I know that last minute cancellations suck for everybody, but I'd rather you cancel an appointment than come in and get everybody sick.
That's a fucking fact.
Right? And I get that it might be the only luxury that you get, but at whose expense? And you might think the whole thing is bullshit, but you know what? Not your call.
It is not your call. It's not your job
It's not
to
even
police the world.
Right. I was going to say, and it's not even... for 100%, if you test positive, do not come in. But if you've just I've been around Sally for the last hour who just tested positive. Sorry, I know you haven't been tested yet. Don't come in. Reschedule it. We'll be happy to do it.
Also, I feel like we're yelling at you guys, and I want you to know that if you're listening to this podcast, we know you're cool.
Oh,
we're
clearly.
just yelling.
You need to
at-
pass it on to your dick friends.
We're yelling at the people, all those rich white people that live in Orange County that we hate with their fucking MAGA flags and their Trump dicks, and I don't know what a Trump dick is, but it just came out of
It's a mushroom dick is what it
it's
is.
small, and it looks bigger in the small hands. But anyways, we're not yelling at you. We're yelling at everybody fucking else.
And I think they know that. I think they're just as annoyed as we are.
Also, we have a lot of listeners from other countries, so I bet you
right.
guys are just tuning in for the shit show, because it really is such a fucking shit show here in the United States of America.
It's not so terrible.
Okay, so there is this woman. She's a research professor, and she's an author. Her name's Brene Brown, and she does TED Talks, and she does Facebook. She has a Facebook page. She does Facebook Lives, and she has got this really engaging and inspiring way of speaking, and she really speaks like truthfully. You know, she'll say like shit and fuck. You know, it sounds like you're talking to somebody who's like a real normal person, not somebody who's there to like
sell you something
or lecture you on something. But she has a ton of really, really great content, and there's the way I was introduced to her was actually at work. This one was actually a Brene Brown video on YouTube called On Empathy. And so basically it starts the conversation about you setting your own bullshit and your own ego aside and looking at the world through somebody else's eyes, which, not to get like too deep into it or whatever, that's just like the very first step in like understanding and being empathetic towards like other people around you. So I highly, highly recommend that. That's like just a tiny little beginner course into Brene Brown. And if you like it, which I'm sure you will, you'll just totally fall in love with her style. She's got a ton of other content. She's got this other one that it's actually a Facebook Live that's just stored, you know, the old videos stored on Facebook. And it's called, I think it's called Brene Brown on White Privilege. And it's probably about an hour long. And it really breaks down, like, people are automatically turned off by the words white privilege. It's like, oh, this is like some kind of heavy fucking, you know, bullshit. I've worked really hard for everything that I've gotten. Like, just because I'm white doesn't mean that I, you know, have any sort of special privileges. Like, I worked my ass off for this shit or whatever. So people, especially white people, get super defensive when you even hear the words white privilege. And so I just want to let you guys know, it's this video, this Facebook Live that she does is totally worth watching. It actually like breaks down, you know, what privilege is, and it actually talks about how everybody has privilege, you know what I mean, and how we're kind of as a society like dehumanizing others, and it really doesn't have anything to do with white people versus any other people. It's like when you call somebody an illegal alien, you're dehumanizing them, you're making them less than human, you know. And it
100%. I never thought about it like that, but that makes total sense.
And it kind of goes back to like slavery, right? How could you possibly own, buy, and sell a human being if you didn't consider them property? You know, you've dehumanized them because, you know, there's no way that our species could be hardwired to survive if that's how we treat each other. You know what I mean? So it's really fucking great. She talks about a bunch of really good stuff. I highly recommend it. But the one thing that really stuck with me, and the thing that I kind of want to end this, like, be excellent to each other segment on, is she said, I'm basically paraphrasing what she said, but she said 2 million individual acts of courage is what we need to make a change, right? So we can all just sit here and bitch about shit, and, you know, I am so guilty of spending probably at least 3 hours a day just commenting on Donald Trump's tweets. Like, what fucking good is that? How is that productive?
He probably doesn't even read them anyways.
No, he doesn't. And it's more just about, honestly, it's more just about, like, trying to piss off his supporters, really. That's my motivation. But think about like all this time I'm wasting doing that shit.
And also, how does that make you feel by the end of it? Do you feel good?
I feel terrible. I feel like shit. So it's like if each one of us just remembers that, like, you know, a little act of courage or a little act of kindness or a little act of being open to changing the way that we are looking at things and looking at it through somebody else's experience or their perspective really could potentially, you know, cause this sort of critical mass that could help change the direction we're going in. Because the direction we're going in, I feel like it feels scary and it feels like it sucks. But all those people waving their Trump flags, they are the minority.
Right.
You know, they just happen to be louder.
Right.
When we can't forget that. Like, most people in the world are not these asshole people. These people just get a lot of attention because their behavior is so outlandish. So that's the one thing I want to end on. Just don't let that derail you. Don't let that get you down, because I know I'm guilty of that. Just remember, You know, we need that critical mass. We need people to, you know, make the right decisions and look at the world through other people's eyes and have empathy.
I agree. And watch Cobra Kai.
And Charlotte just deflated my whole my whole big speech. Let's go fucking watch Cobra Kai.
Yes! All right.
Thanks for jumping in with us tonight. Thanks for listening to our drunken bullshit. Once again, we're just drinking and talking out of our asses. And we appreciate you. So thanks for joining us tonight at Family Home Evening.
It's like 4 in the afternoon.
For Bad Mormons.